All right, we're back here on Sportsline talking about the St. Jude Rock and Roll Marathon here in Nashville coming up April 27th. It is really a weekend this year, though. April the 25th through the 28th. So much going on. Keats McGonigal, Alyssa Updegrave are our guests here tonight, both with the Rock and Roll Series and in charge of putting on the great weekend here in Nashville. And Alyssa, we talked a little bit about the expo that goes along with this, because it's not just a race, but it's really about the health and fitness that all the runners are interested as well. And you laid it out a little bit before, but it's Thursday and Friday. Is that expanded hours, expanded days from the past to move into Thursday now?
No, it's same hours, same days that we've done in the past. The only thing we've expanded on is more of like our footprint inside, and like I mentioned, enticing those people to come in from the draft to experience it as well. So more activations outside and a little bit more inside too. Bigger
and better. So what are the things that people will see when they go inside? What are the things they can experience?
They'll be able to experience, like, we'll have our rock and roll merchandise area, and then as they filter in, there's going to be various booths with vendors and stuff. St. Jude will have a very large presence in our expo, as they have in the past. And then just various local and nationwide partners that we have who come to other health and fitness expos. So running stores and fitness gurus and that type of stuff.
And it's early, but just so people at home know, what are the hours to get in?
Noon to 7 on Thursday, and then on Friday it's from 10 to 5.
People can get in and explore, and that's also where you pick up your race packet and everything you need for Saturday morning, correct?
Yes.
So they have to go
there. They do, yes.
They want to go there, but they also have to go there to make sure they're ready for the weekend.
Yes, that's where you get your t-shirt, your bag, your bib, everything that you need to race.
The other thing that we are doing that's new this year, being the Music City, is we are going to have some live music playing at the Music City Center while all these other activities are going on. So if you're an athlete and you're coming down and racing, maybe bring the family or friends or boyfriend, girlfriend, let them hang out, hear some live music there at the Music Center, enjoy the atmosphere while you're going through and taking care of some of the logistical pieces, and go from there.
One of the things people have always talked about when talking about the St. Jude Rock and Roll Marathon is the music in Nashville, which of course makes sense, as you say, with Music City. There's music out on the course. It truly gives you a flavor. Besides just the landmarks of running by Broadway or Music Row or some of the other places you go in Nashville, you get to hear the sounds and the notes of Nashville along the course. And from my understanding, that's even going to be bigger and better this year as well. What's going to be different on the course for people to listen to?
Yeah, so traditionally we have a band roughly about every mile. So for the marathon, that's 26 bands is what we've traditionally have. This year, in honor of the NFL and the draft, we're upping that to 32. So there's 32 teams in the NFL. We're going to have 32 bands out on the stage in honor of them. And we're working with the NFL on the logistics, but there's going to be some cool things that each of those stages is going to be associated with one of the teams. And then the athletes, as they run past, can be cheering on, if they're from...
Or booing.
Or
depending on which stage it is.
Or booing, depending on who your team is and where you're from and things like that. But you were talking earlier about where the runners are coming from, and we are noticing that we have more runners from states where there are NFL teams.
Oh, okay.
So New York, Florida, things like that. We're seeing a higher population coming from those states.
Interesting that you can break it down like that already. Is it at all hard to get the bands to want to come out and play for this event? And now you've gone to 32. That's a lot of musicians you got to get out there.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately for us is this is the Music City Center, or the Music City, and so we have people signing up. It's not an issue of recruiting as much as auditioning, if you will, to see who's out there. And we've been fortunate enough to have some great bands over the years, and many of them like to come back, and the runners cheer for their best ones, and we try to bring back the fan favorites.
Alyssa, the slogan is bringing the fun to the run. As you've taken over this run for the first year, what's sort of the common thing you hear from people who've run it, people who've worked it in the past, of what this run, this Music City Marathon, is all about?
Well, the athletes really don't like the hills. I've come to find, but unfortunately those are everywhere in Nashville. So it is
Good
a hilly.
luck making a course without that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the hills are inevitable, but that'll kind of switch it up for the runners, so they're not just on a flat course. But you know, we have a cheer section, so local cheer squads and churches and run clubs can come out, and we kind of have a Spirit on the Course competition. So they can register and sign up with us, and we have various spots on the course. One of the run clubs comes out, and they were a fan favorite last year, and we had some cheer squads and some churches are coming out this year. So we kind of have those going on, and then St. Jude will have an activation on course as well, and another partner will have another mile-long activation. So we've got, besides the bands, we have other course elements to keep the runners going, keep them up, you know, up to beat, getting through those hills, and you know, get their mojo going.
For more information on the St. Jude Rock and Roll Marathon here in Nashville, just go to rockandroll.com, Alyssa.
Nashville.
If you want specifically about the Nashville, so rockandroll.com//Nashville to get information on that. Again, as I said, our phone numbers are open, 737-7767 if you want to ask a question about the logistics or anything about that night. And we have Leroy on the line. Leroy, good evening.
Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to call in and compliment your guests. Hey, they do such a fine job what they're bringing to the city with the marathon and everything that comes with it. They're bringing more bands. So just hats off to these guys, and we appreciate everything that they're doing.
All right, thanks for the call, Leroy.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate that. Yeah, thanks to you guys for bringing all that up. We talked a little bit about the starting line earlier and the changes you had to make. Keats, it was, I guess, 5 years ago that the starting line actually changed. I've been here long enough to remember, and as many people do, back when it started out on, I guess, West End, basically, yep, right by Centennial Park.
Yep.
You moved it so it's closer to Broadway, maybe some of the action of downtown. How has that been received over the past 5 years? You keep going back to it, so obviously pretty well, but how did that change the race in your mind?
Yeah, from our perspective, you know, we are about bringing the fun to the run, you know, so the people that are coming here, they want to run the event, but they're here to enjoy the city as well. And so many of them are staying in downtown, want to be able to walk to the finish line. So instead of us trying to get the athletes to where we start, we took the start line and brought it to where the athletes already were downtown. And you know, the feedback from them has been really, really positive. You know, there's a good number of them that are going to be able to enjoy being out maybe a little bit too late on Friday night, and you know, a little
be careful,
little extra time, you know, sleeping, and still be able to get to the start line there. But you know, it's one of those things where you truly want to highlight all of the key monuments of the city, and Lower Broadway is certainly one of those. Alyssa,
what are some of the other spectacles on this run that people can really look forward to?
You know, I think it's really great that the marathoners are allowed to run on First Tennessee Park. You know, so they actually go in the stadium and you can take a selfie, like right in the stadium, right, you know, you're projected on the giant screen that they have in there. So from a marathon runner, and I think that that's really cool, you get that aspect. And, you know, in conjunction, the half marathoners get to go up and down Bicentennial Park, which is beautiful. So they get to see different aspects from different distances, but it really enhances, to me, you get to see all of the city, not just, you know, honky tonk and Music Row, but you also get to see, you know, the government park and the sports as well.
We talk about the marathon a lot, but obviously a much larger segment of the population ends up running the half marathon, the 13.1. You also have a 5K involved in the course of it. Total numbers of people, it's 30,000 at this point, roughly?
Yeah, and that we're going to have about 30,000. That's across all distances. So, you know, again, this is not just a runner's event, but it's just an active person's event, you know. So we have the 1 mile, we have a 5K, we have a kids rock. So truly it is open and accessible to everybody. And you don't have to be a runner to come out and participate. You know, we have a number of people that come out and walk. You know, we have people that will walk the full half marathon, and it's just a great way to tour the city on closed roads where there's no cars, that you may not have the opportunity to go and see and do and experience the city that way.
The only thing that's missing is a tour guide along the way. You just get the bands at every mile or half mile along the way. Listen, what's the breakdown of numbers of people in terms of how many are running the full to the half to the 5K?
In the past, we've seen about 4,000 runners for the full. And then the half is our biggest as before, so that's between 12 and 15,000 about. And then the 5K will probably be about 3,000, maybe 1,000 for the 1 mile. And then our kids race actually has about 3,000 kids in it. So across the board, you know, we have large numbers of people, but you know, like Keith said, it's for anyone who wants to come out and do it. It's a family event. You know, we've got kids, 1 mile, 5K, half marathon, and marathon. So we really want to engage the community and just bring everyone in who lives in Nashville, who doesn't live in Nashville. You know, as 60% people travel into town for this, we really want to engage the people who do live in this town, and they can enjoy, you know, Nashville with closed roads, or come out and have a family event on a Sunday. You know, so we're just trying to engage everyone who's here.
It always amazes me when I've had the opportunity and I'm not traveling with the Preds or at the NFL draft or something like that, and I've been able to go out there. It always amazes me how many people who aren't running are just out there lining the roads for this and helping cheer people on at that time of the morning, and especially the starting gate area and the start line. The amount of corrals that you guys go through, it's quite the process to get that many people off and running, isn't it?
Yeah, the start corrals is pretty unique, and that's where some of the spectacular photos come from, just seeing that many people all together at once. It is a process of trying to get everybody started at the right time. You know, the fast runners want to be out front. The slower people are more willing to be near the back. But to your point, all along the course, there's literally thousands of spectators, and that's truly what makes this event unique and special. You know, there are a number of different runs that happen across the city and across the country, and the ones that truly are iconic and special are the ones where runners feel the vibe of the spectators all along the course. And I think that has a very unique aspect here, especially, you know, seeing last year, one of the memorable experiences for me was along Music Row, and the number of people that are out there, you know, sitting in front yards or in front of their businesses, cheering all the runners on, having a great time, throwing their own little party, you know, and enjoying the experience. And that's what everybody who comes to town gets to experience and really soak in that hospitality.
You guys do this in a lot of other cities. Rock and roll marathons have become huge, not just in Nashville. But is there any other place that is quite the party that the weekend is here?
No, I mean, I think for me, again, I've had the experience of literally seeing hundreds of events over the past decade. And, you know, one of the things that I think makes this special, as you referenced, is how the community embraces it. Not all communities embrace it with the same fervor and excitement, and I think that's one of the things that makes this event very, very special.
Alyssa, you brought up earlier the Kids Rock run on Sunday. So a lot of the people who will come in will run on Saturday morning in either the full, the half, or the 5K. But over the years, this Kids Rock run has really been part of the identity of what the St. Jude Rock and Roll Marathon and Half Marathon in Nashville is all about. Yeah. Tell us about that and the mission behind it.
So we actually partner with the YMCA of Middle Tennessee, and they partner with us, and they bring out, it's for their Healthy Kids Week or month, and they bring out all these games and stuff to have the kids have like a fun festival. And in conjunction with that, we partner with local schools, and they can form a team, and these teams will train, typically sometimes they start in January, and they train all the way until April. With these kids. With the partnership with the YMCA, they also offer scholarship slots for some of the kids for the underprivileged schools. So we hand out some slots for kids who can't afford it. So the schools will form the teams, and they actually come out on Sunday. They'll set up tents. They have their own kind of festival area. There's face painting, food trucks, and just fun games for the kids to do. It's through K through 7. So all grades, boys, girls, they each get a turn to go. So, we swap out, kindergarten boys will run the course and then kindergarten girls. So the kindergartners will run a half mile, and then 1st through 7 will run a 1 mile. And the kids love it. They come out, it's an all-day event. The parents come, they're there, from when we start till when we finish, and everyone's having a great time.
The running community is so tight and close-knit. And it's such a healthy community. People want to support each other in their endeavors and how they run. But for those kids, to give them, in some cases, it says 20% of them are running their first race. To give them their first taste of that activity and the running community, how important is that?
I think it's great. Kids, it's always fun for them to have, an outlet to go and run and to play, and some of them aren't introduced to that until later on, or, to give them the opportunity to join a team. If their school is forming a team, they join that team and they meet these kids and they train and they practice for this event, and then their school is their team on race day, so they have their little spot, and the parents come out and they have their tents, and, they all have, sometimes schools have their own t-shirts that they make, and then, they get to decorate their bib if they want to and personalize it the way they want to. So it really gives them a sense of camaraderie, but also again introduces them into running and healthy living and being active, and hopefully from this they can go join a sports team, or they can continue running, or maybe they'll meet their best friend in this team atmosphere. So it's really great to see, and seeing all the kids run around. I had the pleasure of being the race director of it last year, which was really fun, especially the YMCA. They were easy to work with. They were so great and accommodating, and they enjoy it just as much as we do. And we really take pride in how many kids can come out and enjoy a day like that.
Well, it is a great event, especially for those kids, and more than 3,500 of those kids are expected this year, which is absolutely fantastic. We're going to talk a little bit more of some of the other teams that often get involved during St. Jude Rock and Roll Nashville weekend every year. There's some great causes that go into this race, no question about it. Plus, our phone lines remain open, 737-7767. If you would like to get in with any sort of question about the race itself, the weekend, lots going on here in Music City, we can get to all of that straight ahead as well. Stay tuned. You're watching Sportsline on News Channel 5+.